All right. Trade folks, 7-11, the deuce and the nine. Hoover hey to the coach enthusiasts, the Hoover Knights, the Hoover Collective, and to the people. Man, we're back another night, man, with this get down, touching bases with the people. Like I said, I enjoy doing this, man. I go work hard every day, man, and I set Tuesdays and Thursdays aside just for this. So I'm here, man, to present, man, whatever the topic is, let's have that discussion. Um, Hey man, first off, man, the wife and I want to, thank everybody for her birthday wishes and the get well situation. Everything is everything now. She's up and running rawhide, man, tough as rawhide. That's her, man. So she's good and she appreciates you guys' shout outs, man, and birthday wishes for sure, for sure. Um, so what's been going on, man? What's been going on, people? Look, I wanted to have a discussion. I was looking at Bobby Ye's podcast. Bobby Ye, man, I talked to the brother about a week or so ago, man. We had a long conversation, man. So today I actually caught up to one of his get downs, man. Some of his content, man. He had the brother Popeye on there from IFG. This is an insightful conversation, to tell you the truth. I listened to it all the way here. That motherfucker 3 hours long, man. So I'm at halfway. I'm at the halfway point. But based on what I heard, man, I could jive with that, I'm not a reactionary podcaster. I don't do that reactionary shit. But however, man, because it delves in and touches on those issues and concerns that I speak about. So I want to have a say in that right quick, man. For one, like I say, man, I appreciate the brother's content. It was solid. It was solid. Yeah, we're gonna have that conversation, man. But first, man, look, like, subscribe, amen, and join in on this live, man. What's up, LK Miller, man? What's happening with it, bro? Go on, send the word out there, man. We up and running, man. Let's get this thing started, man. Let's get our groove on like we do, man. While we waiting on everybody, let me address that Bobby Ye get down, man, because like I say, it was insightful, man. It was impactful. I actually enjoyed the conversation. I'm not even through with it, but what I've heard of it, hour and a half, tight shit. The title was "Who's Preventing Peace in the Communities?" And he named a few sets and whatnot. And he has his opinion. He said the Damus, the Bloods, are the ones impeding, peace, in the communities. I think there are varying opinions on that, and like I say, mine's is just an opinion as well. But Popeye got on and said something that made sense, man. Popeye said, man, it's not necessarily the sets or the blood set, so to speak. There are individuals from all sectors, all factions, man, that help or that prevent, this thing with, or this thing about Black unity. Let's put it like that. They're dudes from everywhere. Hoover, Bloods, Crips, whatever, man. We all got somebody in our camps that, or, bucking, basically, bucking against this thing, man, that's most needed, man. That's our unity as Black people. My take on it is what it is. There's no mystery. People have heard me say it. I have no problems, what I'm saying, with, saying what's on my mind. I think there are individuals, man, in every camp that promote, dissension, for whatever reason. You got some that have taken losses, not just in the set, but in terms of family, like blood family, for real, brothers and sisters, mamas, daddies, aunts, uncles, I get it, I'm in that camp, we took a loss in our family. But you have those who won't let go of that, and to some regard, to some respect, you can understand it, but again, like the brother, I'm just, I'm just gonna light on what Popeye was saying. See, when it comes to that type of get down, that type of mindset, then we're dealing with feelings. And I've said on this podcast many times before, we shouldn't be dealing with feelings, man. We should be logical. We're men. We're supposed to think. We're supposed to master our emotions and our feelings, man, to such an extent to where, our logic overrides anything or any desire, whatever the case may be, man, or, any, frame of mind that could put us in jeopardy or put others in jeopardy. Logic, man, rules. it rules man, you know. So that's not new to me, me hearing it or me saying it. I agree, man. We should deal with logic. What's logical? You know what I mean? What's logical, man? I tell you, man, just look at what's going on. Look at what has been going on. Man, logic should tell us, man, we losing. Ain't nobody winning nothing. Nobody got one up on nobody else, man. What is occurring though is this continual loss that we all suffer. We all continue to suffer, you know. And at some point, we got to be logical and say, "Wait a minute, man. Enough's enough. Enough is enough. When do we stop with the BS?" You know. Yeah, I'm from Hoover. That's my camp. You know what I mean? I can say, and I don't say it with pride, that I was one of the ones in the shit, creating this shit, or my actions can be pointed to as a result of what we're going through now. The youngs, they hear certain names, they who was with the business, da 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 da, and that's the mantle they hold. That's what they run with. I'm here to tell them, man, this shit was a trick, homie. It's a trick and it's a trap. The shit, it ain't really nothing. It ain't nothing. It's a trap. We were hoodwinked and bamboozled, like the brother said. I can tell you from experience, homie, that nobody won. Nobody wins. My actions didn't give us. We ain't won nothing. We ain't got nothing as a result of it. And a lot of other homies who've been in the same shoes as me, in the same places as me, would tell you the same thing if they real. If they real about what's really going on and how they see their actions from the past and what that has brought to the table now, what we're dealing with now, they'll tell you the truth, man. Nah, this shit ain't, nah. We're not accomplishing nothing. So I'm saying that to say, man, there are individuals, man, that's pushing disharmony. You know what I mean? There are dudes that are involved with these youngs, man, and they tell them, man, fuck that. Fuck that. Whatever their motive is for doing it, man, they have one, and I'm telling you, it exists. This shit is happening. So it's an individual thing. I don't think it's a collective effort within these certain sections and factions, man. That we're talking about individuals, man, for real. Individuals, man, and they function in such a way, in such a state to where it's almost like they say, man, I'm bigger than the program. Straight up, motherfucker, can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me shit. This whatever it is I'm pushing, you don't like it, and that seems to be, the attitude. But let's be honest, man. Even those, man, it's sad to say that they'll get to a point where damn reality hits them and shock their ass into the present. What I mean? Where they're confronted or compounded with some real live issues that will buckle the average individual. Let's not hope it even gets to that. Um, when I see the youngs, man, I observe them, man. I'm peeping. I'm like, okay, what he's standing on. His get down. I'm checking him out. How he interact with individuals, so forth, so on. And I could pretty much tell you, I know just from observing who's doing what, boom, who's gonna listen, who ain't, who's being influenced and who's not. For those who aren't being influenced, who tend to try to think for themselves, man, they're fighting a battle too. Us so-called old heads, we just say, man, it's an uphill battle. Yeah, man, yeah, that's true. But you got youngs fight that same battle. It's an uphill battle. These cats don't want to do this shit, man. I'm telling you, there's no way, man, on your God's green earth, anybody in their right mind want to live the way they live it. You know, um, but like I said, there are other influences. There are cancers in the communities, man. There are different types of cancers in the community, man, and these cancers have gotten old, man. Well, again, I can attest to it. I was a cancer. I can attest to that shit, man. A lot of us can. But me saying that is only me recognizing what the situation really is. There's some negative influences in the communities, man, that's keeping this thing from happening. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, but at what cost? At what cost is this going to take place? And it's going to be a cost because the way, individuals are bucking against this thing coming together, against us, you know what I'm saying, being prosperous, being unified and so forth, man. You, you know, it, it's going to come to a head. For those who understand what I mean, they know what I mean, man. The brother Bobby Ye was speaking in terms of a revolutionary mindset. I get that. And I'm kind of the same way. A lot of my thoughts and my ideology, man, you know what I mean, about a lot of shit, I think it's too revolutionary for a lot of cats. I don't really want to say what really needs to be said because, we got this situation, social media, that's being monitored by everybody, So you have to be really mindful about what you're saying on these platforms, man, because you say the wrong thing. You say the wrong thing, man. In fact, try not to say too much in terms of, a revolutionary type thinking, you know what I mean, about bringing, a certain change, a specific change to your community that will, eliminate a whole lot of shit. And it's that whole lot of shit we want to eliminate that others don't want eliminated. So that becomes a problem. In fact, you are a problem, and in a lot of ways, they'll find a way to deal with you. But I'm like the brother, man. A lot of my thoughts, man, are geared towards a revolutionary concept, man, in terms of how we get the community right. It's a lot to that shit, man. It's a discussion that can't be had over social media or the telephones. You know what I mean? So I'm in accordance with that brother in that respect. But I don't place blame on no set, no sector, individually. For instance, it's not just the Bloods' fault. And it's not just the Crips' fault. It's not just Hoover's fault. You know what I'm saying? We all are culpable, you know what I'm saying, in terms of, this thing that's happening, man. We all playing a role in it, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. We all feed these individuals that, brothers, myself, and others are saying, man, are the problem. You know, we all, look, man, we all are culpable. We're responsible for this shit, man. So we have to find a solution. We have to have an objective. What is that objective? How do we deal with this? The objective is to get this shit right, right? Okay, what are the solutions? What are the solutions? I saw something on YouTube yesterday, I think it was. At what's the brother name? Damu Cat, Skip Townsend. He in the land with his phone again. This is what peace look like. This is what peace look like. I don't see nobody out there, man, gang bangers, the ones who are, what I'm saying, active, you know what I mean. They're not out there. So what peace are you talking about? What peace are you talking about? I see a lot of nonprofits out there, but I don't see those individuals, man, that, that, or for lack of a better term, or against peace, or who we need to have at the table discussing peace. They were not there. And y'all on set with that shit. And I'm thinking too, then how that happen? How that happen? How does that, wait a minute. First off, how is the set being compensated for that? You know, sit down with us and show us, in real time, you know, how that benefits Hoover. Because you on Hoover talking about this what real peace look like. And most of the youngs I know, they not saying that. So where'd you get that? This type of, see, this is part of the problem. Dudes take these initiatives. They take initiatives to jump out there, man, to get footage, to get, content. And there's no real substance, man. There is no substance behind what you're saying. Granted, I saw brothers my age out there. I didn't see no youngsters, period. Period. And on these same brothers, I don't see them when I'm on the set talking to, the youngs, not the ones I know. What real peace are you talking about? Anybody that know, ain't no peace, man. Let's be 100 about this shit. Let's be solid, man, about what the fuck we talking about, man. Because a lot of times dudes are saying shit, I think, just to say it. A pair of lips to say anything, man, and that's wrong. Shouldn't allow ourselves to just say shit because we can say it. What peace, man? What real peace that you were talking about? This what real peace look like? It over there? I don't know what you're talking about, homie. You know, and again, man, like I said, I saw just mostly nonprofit dudes that wasn't even from most of them wasn't even from there. On 84th, 85th, Vermont. Talking about this what real peace look like. I ain't seen no young red rags. I ain't seen no young neighborhoods. I didn't see no young Hoovers. I didn't see no young HJ gangsters, no Inglewood family cat. I didn't see no Denver Lanes, no Swans, no 40s, no 60s, no 9-0s. I didn't see none of them cats. I saw all nonprofit. What piece are you talking about, bro? Are you brothers talking about? This shit is unacceptable, man. And when we gonna do something, do it right. And again, you over in the land, you talking about this what real peace look like. How does Hoover benefit from that? Explain that shit. Share that with us. How does Hoover benefit from that? Where's the benefit in what you talking about, man? You know, how many groceries have you taken to sisters with hungry kids up and down Hoover Street or Vermont or Figueroa? How many bills y'all paying? How many cars have y'all bought for them so they can get to and fro work? Come on, man. This shit, this is again, see, it ain't just, and like I said, I respect what Bobby Ye was saying in terms of who's preventing peace, in the communities. I'm telling you, man, it's a lot more to it. It ain't just the game bangers who's preventing peace. It's really not, it's a factor, but they're not the only ones culpable, man. The only ones to blame for this problem. We got cats, man, who are also to blame for this problem. Like I said, I'm one of them. I'll be the first to admit it, you know. But there are other individuals, man, inserting themselves in situations, man, and they got no real say so, man. They are not bringing nothing to that community's table, you know. I looked at it for as long as I could stomach it. I didn't see none of my homeboys who have nonprofit. I didn't see them, you know, that I know. Like I said, I just saw a bunch of old brothers, man, and they was for some everywhere, but they not over there, man, every day. They don't. What real peace they talking about, you know? So these are I think these are the sort of circumstances, man, that hinder us too, man, that hurt us. We get people, man, that jump in these, they try to get in situations, man, and they ain't really got no say in the situation, you know. And if they did, had they had any real say in the situation, the shit they talking about pushing Pete, this is what real peace look like. They would bring individuals, man, who need to be sitting down with other individuals, man, so that peace can happen. They not providing that. That's a problem, homie. That's a real life problem, homie. That's bullshit. That's what I call it. It's bullshit. You know. Um, and again, man, dude needs to stop doing that type of shit. You know, I'm sitting up there. I'm like, damn, how late is it? What time? I ain't catch it all late. I'm like, shit. I love to have been there. I love to have pulled up on that. And I seen what piece you talking about, bro? What you looking at? You know, what the fuck are you looking at? What are y'all looking at? Oh, come on, man. This shit don't make no sense, man. No more than we got individuals in these certain sectors and these hoods, these sets, pushing this negativity, man. None of it makes any sense, bro. You know. But the Bloods aren't just to blame. The Crips aren't just to blame. The Hoovers aren't just to blame. It's everybody's issue. It's everybody's issue, man. You know. And again, man, another thing, and I've said this before, and I don't have a problem saying this, man. When brothers get to talking about unity, we have this habit, and I get it, but we had this habit of divisiveness. We want to be divisive, and well, Crip this and Crip that, and blood this and blood that. There's still that separation. You can't have it. You're not gonna have peace if you're not bringing to the table those who need to have peace most, those who need peace the most, those who are warring. You're just not gonna have it, bro. You can't exclude Bloods from this equation. Bloods cannot exclude Crips from the equation. In the equation, what the issue is about peace. Like one of the brothers said, man, hey man, here's the reality. There are Bloods and Crips. Both of them got buddies and loved ones, man, tight best friends that are Bloods and Crips. And if you're my friend, and I mean that, I'm not just saying that, loosely, then man, I'm concerned with your well-being as well as my own and your own. So I'm getting at you in such a way, hey man, we got to figure some shit out. We got to bring this shit together, bro. Because what I'm saying, I love you. I don't want nothing to happen to you, man, accident or whatever else you was because you're hanging to some dudes, whatever. We got to figure this shit out. See, if I really care about peace and unity, that would be the push. Because you can't have both ways, homie. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. It don't work like that. And you dudes seem to not understand that. It's coming from a Hoover, motherfucker. It's coming from a Hoover. You want peace? It got to be real. It got to be across the board, bro. It has to be. It has to be. And for all intents and purposes, that's not the case. There's no peace across the board. You got, like I say, it's divide and conquer, man. There's so much decisive division. Excuse me. There's so much division. I mean, and peace is a far off, hope, wish, because dude's not going about it right. Want to separate. We always see that's what they did to us. They separated us. All we're doing is exercising what Master taught us. Stand separate. And separate us, we can't work together. We're not gonna have nothing together because we separate. Our thinking is whack, man. Again, feelings. We in our feelings. We're not being logical. The logical thing to do if you're talking about peace, man, is to bring everything black that got an issue with enough back to the table. Sit down like men and resolve this shit. And for those who want to be the individuals that run around striking up shit, dissing shit, doing could be corrected. They can be corrected. But until then, man, we gonna, and that's something about me, man. I don't like keep, rehashing shit or repeating myself, being redundant. You know what I'm saying? And since I started this podcast, I've said what I've said from day one. I've said what I said from day one. I bought some 9-0 Hoovers on. I bought some brothers on who were 9-0 Hoovers at one time. They end up evolving, into 9-0 neighborhoods. But I was wrong, in a few eyes, in the minds of a few dudes, the dudes, and I get it. Like I said, man, because we didn't, a lot of this shit is emotional. So I get it. But man, here's the reality, man. Them was our brothers, man, first. You throw them fists and you do all that shit because that's what we do. That's how we grew up, That's how we got to know one another, man. Understand one another, appreciate each other. That's what we did. But I did that, and that was the issue. So now you got individuals, man, reluctant reluctant because they don't want to be looked at a certain way, or they don't want somebody to say, "Oh man, he acting like a hook, man. Or he ain't keeping it real," because they want what all of us should want. We want some peace, man. Want some prosperity, man. Shit, my family, we want property. We want to be able to live, man, and we want to be able to live in we want our minds to be clear about our offspring, our youth, our family, young ones. Not We don't want to worry about something happening to them because this shit is still going on. You know, we want to worry about them getting good grades, man, and becoming the doctors and lawyers and engineers and all these things we can be, man. Other than what we are today, how we acting out. You know what I mean? We want to think about that type of shit. You know, you know. Come on, man. Let's just be 100 about shit, man. I said Baba Ye did a good piece. I appreciated the piece. I appreciated his take on it. I appreciated Popeye's take on it. Both sides, man, had validity. They valid points on each side. But I have to agree with Popeye in the sense that you can't you can't blame a collective, you know what I mean, to an extent, for the actions of an individual. If you have an individual, yeah, then it's on the collective to, hey man, if that's what the collective is on, to deal with that. If not, if that section ain't on that, that individual doing what the job description is. You know what I mean? And I get that part. Been there and done that. Hey, nah, homie, you can't be on the homie about that. That's his job. You know. But if I'm saying now, and I am saying now, hey man, nah, man, that's some bullshit, homie. Fuck that. Because that's gonna create more shit, you know what I'm saying? And such and such stuff, anybody can fall victim to this act, man. To this thoughtless act, man. So no, homie, now, I'm being responsible. You know what I mean? But we have individuals from Bloods, Crips, Hoovers, everywhere that hey, that are, lack of a better term, renegades. You know, and a lot of them think, motherfucker can't say nothing to me. You know, but when it gets to the point where brothers are talking, man, logic, and they showing those individuals who or in their feelings or emotions what logic really is and how it is applied or how they can utilize it. I mean, when we get to that point, man, then we can start thinking about, and not only thinking about it, but anticipating change. Now we can start, once we get that thing grooving like that, we can bring out the phone to say, man, this is what peace look like. Because I got the boy over there, he from Bloods, the boy over there, he from Crips, the boy over there, he from Hoover, and not only that, but non-affiliated. Just, brothers and sisters that love their people. And we can say this is what peace look like, because we all doing this, man. We do this every weekend. You know, we come together, man. We come together on some positive shit, on some logical shit. Until that point, man, you dudes run around here, man, this get down, man, I'm telling you, it's just more detriment. You did that shit before, and I'm speaking about the camera welding dude with that meeting we had last year, almost a year now. With the camera, this what peace look like. There wasn't that wasn't even the discussion. He is then a year later, same antic, same tactic. What is that, man? And again, like I said, there was no one there. There was no active cats there, man, among other active cats from different sectors, man, saying, hey, man, shaking hands and, what's happening, man? I remember when wasn't none of that. Come on, man. Y'all dudes you back up, man. I'm telling you, a lot of y'all in the way for real. For real, And I'm only, I know I can speak this way and speak like this because I was in it. I was in it, you know, lost as a result of it. I know what the fuck I'm talking about, man. A lot of you cats don't really know, you know, and that even go for these individuals that's doing a lot of dumb shit they doing. They're not gonna really know till we hit them. you know, then find themselves, man, sitting on the shelf, you know, a young cat, 24, 25, 34, 35, getting 50, 60 years. It's over. It's over, man. It probably won't hit you till your 10th year up in there. And you've been sitting on the shelf 10 years. It hit you like a ton of bricks. Come on, man. It's a lot to this shit, man, that ain't right, man. And I'm just saying, man, we got to start looking at what's right so that we can start bringing it to the table. You know, there is a solution, man. But see, anytime we get all this extra shit, this fluff, it creates a greater problem for us. If I saw that video, how many young saw that video and said, well, what the fuck you talking about peace? And they on the set with this shit. Calling each other, man, what the fuck? Let's ride by it. You know. But they know better than what the fuck you talking about. They know what the fuck you talking about peace, man. What peace? This ain't what peace look like. Come on, homie. But hey, man, Bobby Ye, like I say, my stance on that is I don't think it's one sector. I think it's a plethora of individuals, man, from somewhere everywhere. And that's the shit they own. That's the shit they own, man. And a lot of that shit continues the bullshit. A lot of cats ain't got to the point where, especially us older heads, to where yeah, enough's enough. We had enough. We tired, but not to the point where we see the young ones that come on, man. You can hang with me today, and keep you off the streets, man. Let's go, and have something to eat. Come on, let's go. Let's catch a movie. Let's do something other than what you've been doing. You know, and the G's ain't calling each other. Hey, man, I know a down one, man. Just like come on, man. Let's go and hang out together. They mediate, what I'm saying? Just a gathering, you know what I mean? Just, get together, two, 4 to 6 heads, you know what I mean? Just, chopping it up, man. Getting an understanding. That's not being done. I'm telling you that's a solution. That can be a solution to part of this get down, man. A lot of these dudes, I don't think they want to do this shit, man. I don't think nobody really finds solace in waking up every day not knowing if they're going to make it through the day, bro. I just don't think that, I really don't. I think dudes, when they walk out their door, wherever they get out the car they slept in or whatever the case may be, they looking around. Am I safe to walk across the street to the store to get me a blunt? Can I make it to my girl house on the bus or the train or whatever the case may be? Man, don't find no solace in living like that, man. And I tell you, can't none of them tell me that they do. And even if you lace with your shit, you got to worry about popo now. They violate your rights in a minute. Just pull you over because you look like a mug. You know what I mean? You look suspicious, which ain't a crime. So you got all kind of shit on they got all kind of shit on their plate they got to deal. But I'm telling you, they don't find no solace in that. It's impossible for them to be comfortable in this lifestyle, homie. It's impossible. It's impossible, man. But there's that. And like I say, man, we got podcasters, man. They do shit that don't make sense. Messy shit, manipulating the mindsets of these youngsters, man. There's just a lot of messy shit, man, and it ain't serving nobody, man. But those who they put this content on, those, that machine, you know what I mean? They not YouTube, they not Google, they not Instagram, they not nothing. They don't see or reap nowhere near, what I'm saying, what they make off your content, which is a detriment to your community. Oh, not even close, bro. Not even close. Dudes is acting too thirsty, man, for some shit they not gonna get. You're not getting that bag like that. Cause chances are you're not gonna last anyway. They get you on here and they set you up too. They set you up, man. Come on, man. Y'all dudes got short memories, man. Short memories, man. In fact, I gotta say that even my own people got short memories. You know, my own people got short memories, bro. There's nowhere in the world I would go on a podcast that was disrespectful to my community. Period. Period. There's nothing you can offer me for me to sell out, man. You know, my integrity, man, my principles, man. You know, my community, my tribe, where I come from. There's no way, man. You can't have somebody on that thing a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago that then said some outrageous shit about where I come from, and you let them say it time and again. There's no way in the world you could call me and say, man, come on, I get down. And I'm a go. Come on, man. Come on, home. Come on. That go for all of them. All of them. And that don't just go for Hoovers. You know what I mean? That go for all you dudes that didn't had seen shit on these podcasts that had you live it. And they sitting up just talking bad about dudes, they mamas, that they just disrespectful shit on these podcasts. And then the podcast turn around and call you, hey, come and sit on my platform. What kind of hook is you? What kind of hook they take you for? You know? What kind of sellout they take you for, homie? Shit, man. Better off doing your own shit. TikTok, Instagram, hey man, get your phone, sit in your car, your room, whatever. Do your own shit. But you should never support. You should never support somebody, man, that allowed some podcast or platform that allow others to come and just disrespect, you know what I'm saying? Some shit, man, that, you know, for clicks, for likes, for ratings. Come on, man. Come on, man. Make you suspect. You know, so I said that, man, but it's a lot of them out there. A lot of them are messy. You know, some of them, man, they manipulative. You know, they got a lot of y'all fool and come out, man. I'm with the peace. I want the boom. A month later, man, they sitting up. They got messy shit, man. They doing shit, man, that just don't make sense. It didn't jive with what you was talking about a month earlier, 6 months ago. Now you king of the mess. Are you vying with the other cats to be the biggest mess maker, you know, in that, you know, social media sphere, man? Shit is crazy. It's crazy, man. And again, man, Bobby J, man, I give you medals, man, because you said some shit. In fact, you get your medals because your shit was solid. I loved it. But Popeye, you the one who said that. These cats are manipulative. They play the game. You know, and they know how to be, you know, real, you know, they know how to insinuate shit and play one role or try to wear one hat, take that hat off and wear another, you know what I'm saying, just for the hits and the likes and all this shit, man. That shit exists, homie. These dudes do it every day. All right, enough said about that, man. I done had my piece, man. You know, like I said, I'm not into this reactionary thing, man, you know, but, you know, just, you know, what I do know or notice is that this shit messed up, man. It's messed up, man. And it's gonna take a while, man, to get this shit right, man. Because I'm telling you, we got people, man. The homeboy came on here, man. Matt Hoove came on here and said, man, we lack ethics. For some of y'all, those y'all don't know, we talking about principles, man, and standards. You know, certain decorum, certain just a way of carrying yourself all the time, especially when ain't nobody looking. You know what I mean? We lacking, man. You know, and again, ain't no way anybody can say anything about one of my homies and then come and try to invite me on their show and sit up and talk about another. Get the fuck out of here, man. Excuse my language, man. Never. 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 All right, man. I'm done, man. Shit. I'm done. Let's get into this chat, man. What's up, Woody? You know what to do, homie. You know what to do, homie. You all right? How you been, man? H's, homie. Mr. Fantastic, what's up with you, man? And why you always coming in and talking, what's up, bud? What's up, bro? Hit me with something profound, homie. Come on. Not saying that you don't or you haven't, I would like to see more of it. I like to see it more often, homie. That's all I'm saying. Because I know you got it in you to do all that. Big Lazy say, what's up with Chim Chim? What Chim you talking about, Big Lazy? Akeem, what's up, man? Peace to the gods, homie. Yes, yes, yes. Like, subscribe, and share this live, people. Let's do that. Let's get to the point when y'all come on here, man. Like, subscribe, and share the live, all right? Let's start bringing in like-minded people, man. This conversation needs to grow, man. Because we're at war, man. We're at war. But see, and messed up part, yeah, we're at war with ourselves, man. And we're at war with each other. And we're trying to prevent this. We want to see this war end, man. See, so we can really see what unity and peace look like. This is what peace look like. We want to see what peace look like, man. Trust me. Before I lead this earth, I'm gonna see what peace look like, man. Peace of mind, man. You know, a bigger piece of this pie out here, man. The whole nine. Shit. Shot son. Was there a time when Denver Lanes and Hoovers in that area were cool? I can't speak to that. Maybe early on, because I heard one of the homies speak on that early on. You know, in the inception of, you know, the Hoovers. You know what I'm saying? There was probably a time where there wasn't no beef. You know what I mean? They were there, and you know they had more space than what they have now. But yeah, probably early on. All right, Neil, man, where you been, man? You say peace and productivity, because an idiot mind is the devil's workshop. You already know, man. Idle mind is the playground for the devil. Do you want to get? I was just listening to that shit the other day. That shit is solid. Okay. Mr. Kevin, Lil Zoe Reed, what's happening, man? Hey, man, I'm in, brother. Same to you, homie. Neil Spice say, once peace is obtained, positive productivity will bring about prosperity. That's solid shit. Facts. Facts, homie. He goes on to say, Bub, continue to talk positive. You know, believe positive words have a great impact on the people. Real shit. Wild Bunch, Lemon Deuce. What's up, loved one? What's up with you? Yo, Wild Bunch, Lemon Deuce asked a question, man. He said, Bub, Bub, can you manifest your freedom? Hmm. Yeah, I think most of us can. Yeah, yeah. Stank Funk Music 7-4. Stank Funk Music 7-4. I know it hit my brother great. He should be up for parole next year. 26 of a 30 to life. Homie, it's a lot of motherfucking time. Excuse me, y'all. That's a lot of time, man. That's a lot of time, man. I'm getting a phone call, y'all. No, I'm gonna let this one go right now. Nah. Anyway, Neil Sprite says Neil says it always happens when an OG like yourself with knowledge express yourself. The knuckleheads start politicking to get the youth attention away from you, big boy. That go for a lot of us, homie. You know, and then when we dealing with shit like that, or individuals like that, see, you know, you got to understand that these dudes don't want to lose the limelight, but they want it for all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? They want it for all the wrong reasons. You know, I just what I think, homie. You know, I'm not. I'm. You know, like I said, man, I'm doing what I'm doing. I do what I do, man. On this get down, man, because you know this. It's part of. It's in my soul to do it, homie. You feel me? It's and like I say, those who know me know me. You know, and you guys are not gonna never get me up. I will not come on here and sit up and be braggadocious or you know try to glorify some shit I done that was messed up. That's not gonna ever happen. You know, I could talk about going, you know, traveling and you know people I've met. You know what I mean? Those sorts of things, man. But I'm not gonna be, one of those dudes, man, that sit up, man, and talk this BS, man, putting other brothers down, um, trying to shame brothers, man, trying to create funk and conflict. I don't want that. Like I said, I've lived through that, bro. Most of us have, you know. But I think that it's those of us who have went through so much of it. See, because I think a lot of us, we've taken on a lot more than other individuals. What I mean? There's some of us, man, that have been to hell and back 100 times. And then there are some of us that only been a couple of times, you know what I mean? So they didn't really get burned like, like hell to burn you. But those that been there and back 100 times, scorched, you know, they know what that shit like. They don't want that shit. They don't want it for themselves. They don't want it for nobody they love, man. You know, it's all kind of good brothers out here, man. A lot of them, I think, don't want to say nothing, man, because I'm telling you, the atmosphere ain't right. You know, a lot of them not necessarily in fear or retribution for speaking out, man, but would think that, or probably think that, there'll be some type of blowback. You know, you know what I mean, man. For me though, I'm not worried about that shit. I don't worry about that type of shit. That's not something I worry about. You know, I worry about, what I'm saying, young brothers from my community and others making it through the day. You know, this platform, I think, man, is just it's a vessel, man. It's this thing, man, that can give something to somebody who needs it that might help them along the way. You know what I mean? That's why I do this. I don't do this. I don't do this for no YouTube check, homie. You know? Now, if I was with the messy shit, think about it. Think about it. That's why I say it would not happen here, homie. Because I think, our people, man, we are the greatest resource and commodity on the face of this earth, man. We just don't realize it. As a unit, as a whole, we just don't realize it yet. So that shit they chasing, man, a little bit checks, man, they getting, man, for this shit they putting out there that's doing more damage, ain't worth it, bro. It ain't worth it. You know, it's just not worth it, homie. My thing is, homie. Again, I push the way I push, man, so that we can live like men, like people. You know, you know. Um, I you know, we deserve this, man. But I'm obligated, man, because like I said, I know what I did to contribute to this mess. So I'm in this, man. I what I did, I did. I can't go and take none of that back. That happened. However, as a result of it, look where I am now. Look who I am now. Look how I push and how I groove now. You know, everything I do, man, in terms of, us, being free, us being men, us, what I'm saying, providing not just for ourselves, but our community, man, those we love, man, protecting it, you know, all that shit matters. It all matters. I'm that person now because of what I went through. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm in this fight, bro. I'm in this fight, bro. And like I said, I can give two cent, two spits about what somebody, like, how this shit go, man. What somebody might think about me, man. You ain't fucking with me, you know. I don't want that problem either. I don't want that problem, homie. And if you ain't with what I'm on, hey man, kick rocks, homie. Kick rocks. Shit. I don't come to your shit, and hey man, that's what you want. Hey, and I know it's bullshit. I don't fuck with you. I'll greet you, still respect you. I try to stay humble. I try to stay grateful, but I don't fuck with you. We ain't on the same page. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't align myself or liken myself to somebody like that. It's just not me. I've been there, homie. A lot of us have been there. We know what this get down entails, homie. And I'm just trying to share that, man. I'm trying to put it out there in the atmosphere, man. This some bull crap, homie. We've been played. And that's sad to say because that's been the history as a people. We've been played. We're continuously being played. I was talking to a brother, man, last night, and this brother was talking about alliances, strategic alliances with other races. So my take on that was this: there should be no such thing. You know, there should be no such thing. You know, why do I need somebody else to get my shit together? You know, now if me and my people are willing to work for what we get and we do it right, we're gonna appreciate it more. But if we're working with somebody else, another race, we don't understand the culture in terms of how they think and deal with shit, man, on a daily business and whatever else. You know, I think that those types of situations and circumstances open the door, man, for you know for them or whoever meant to usurp whatever thoughts, ideas, plans you have. Like I said, man, we've been in the trick bag a long time. And one of the main ways that others get over on us is they come fuck with us first. They come fuck with us. Oh, we cool. We cool. Hey, man, I'm going to open the shop right there. I'm going to open the shop right there. You know? And you cool, come on in. And before you know it, they done killed one of our people. Or they kicked them out in the street. No, but we supposed to be, hey, we supposed to be in this together. Nah, homie. We got enough issues. We have to deal with our shit first. And if at such a time our shit is concrete, our foundation is solid, it's solid. If we so choose to have, but at that point or that juncture, I don't see the need or why there would be a need for a strategic alliance. Because we didn't done the work. We've always done the work. We've always done our work, man. Black Wall Street did not have a strategic alliance with nobody but black folks. Only thing they lacked, and in spite of everything they did was great, they missed one thing. They had a protection right. The Uslamo wasn't right. See, ain't no better warrior either. There's no better warrior. But I don't need a strategic alliance with nobody other than my people. My people. That should be the only basis or reasons for a strategic alliance. It's if it is with your people, your own people. Because if you do anything other than that, you have a strategic alliance with another race, they're gonna co-opt that shit. They're gonna take it over. They're gonna take it over. Come on, man. So me and this brother, we talked for 2 hours last night, and we agreed to disagree. I love you too, homie. Peace to the guys. But yeah, man, no, 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 no strategic, nothing. Black first, black first. Trump said America first. The brothers in Africa now saying Africa first. I say the other, man, black first, man. That's it. That's all. Now, all we got to do is decide to get our shit together, man. That's it. All we have to do is decide to knock off the bull, knock it off. First, just knock off the BS, man. Just get to that point. Get to that point. That's the first step. After that, man, now you have a basis. Now you have a reason to come to the table and have a discussion, communicate. Now we start communicating. I'm telling you, man, that's to get out, man. But I don't need to do that with no other race, man, but my own. And like I say, man, I wouldn't want to get rich with another race. And I still got a section or a sector or somebody in my community or surrounding community, and they ain't got it, but I'm working and getting it with these. Nah, homie. No. I don't care what nobody say. No. Man, no. Link up with some old people. Man, and I come on, nah, man. There's just too many ways I can no. Nah, that shit don't work. Anyway, man. But I enjoyed the conversation, bro. You know I did. You know, we talked for quite a while about this stuff. Wild Bunch 11 Dudes who said never was cool with the lanes. Um, if I remember correctly, now uh initially we, when we Hoover started, man, especially the nine deuces, from what I understand, um, there was no beef initially. Not with Hoover, not with Hoover. With some other, other individuals, yeah, but not with Hoover. All right. So and that, that was my take on it. In fact, I got it. Uh, I got it on the episode. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's in the episode. But anyway, yeah. Akeem says actually DBL no different than many. There was even some of those dudes that had brotherly functions and hustles with H's. You know what I'm saying? A lot back then, man. A lot was different. A lot was different. Ja Barney says, peace, unity, and freedom is a must. It should be the only thing it should be the only thing that's pushing or propelling us towards, you know what I'm saying, the heights or the squares we need to be on. That's it. Without it, man, we're not, again, we ain't got nothing. We have absolutely nothing. We have nothing, you know? And we don't have anything, bro, because we don't have peace amongst each other. There's no unity, and without those things, man, there can't be productivity. There cannot be prosperity. Facts. Facts, homie. El Chevy, man. El Chevy say, hey, Big Bub, enjoy your SF day, man. You and your family and all the grooves resting and still here. Much love and respect. One nation under the groove. I see Big Woody be tapping in. Yeah, you already know, man. Woody stay on the get down. And I love him for that too, man. Yeah, we gonna hang out, man, this Friday, man. You know what I'm saying? And you know, just yeah. Pay homage, homie. Those what those days should be for, you know. And that go for any set to do it now. A lot of sets and adopted that from us. I heard it said, some brother said it just recently that Bear from East Coast started set day first. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Listen to what he said when he started, you know. But so be it, man. They have one. Enjoy it. Theirs is coming up soon, But we supposed to take these set days, man, and pay homage, home. You know, you know, in remembrance, you know what I mean? We're supposed to remember, man, brothers and sisters, man, who ain't here, man. You know, that's what them days should be for, man. Shouldn't be about just, come on, man. You know, pay homage, homie. You know, you know, that's what them days should be for. I go for all sets. I'm not dictating nobody, but I'm saying, especially Hoover. Anytime we have a set day, man, we supposed to, man, our set day supposed to be grounded based upon, man, remembering our loved ones, homie. You know, that's what them for. That's what them for, man. Yeah. Wild Bunch of them dudes Hoover say, why Hoover most hated? And did you know Red from Avalon, who said the Hoover's trying to down us? Hey, man, I saw that thing, man. You know, uh, I know Cartoon, man. We was in TS together. I don't know that brother right there, man, but I know Bull Capone, man. And that's not, I don't know what that brother was going through, I don't know what that brother was going through, man. As far as who was being most hated, again, we have some responsibility in that. We are culpable, and most of the hate we bought that set that at our own feet, homie. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways. So, you know, um, I don't, here's the thing, man. And as far as Hoover go, I want to see my community, man, at a state where it's not something we talking about, homie. This is not something we going through. You know, just think about that, homie. Try to visualize that. Try to imagine that, homie. That's not something that's gonna be in the chat. You know, think about the opposite of that. And I don't mean necessarily that we need to be loved. You know what I mean? But think about it in terms of we're living productive lives. We know prosperity. You know what I mean, bro? Our kids are okay. Our grandkids are all right, man. Everything around us is ours. You know what I mean? That's how that's how I see shit. That's how I see shit, bro. Al Thomas, peace back to you, bro. And thank you, homie. You said peace to the chats, man. Peace to the chat and peace to Big Bub. Appreciate y'all. Huh. Akeem said, man, the average black person or the average black people are worth $40 million in melanin. Now, y'all need to start looking up some shit, man, for real, about this melanin and what they're doing scientifically. What they're doing scientifically with melanin. I say it, man, and I'm going to keep saying we are a resource. We are a commodity. But the cold part about what I'm saying, man, is we're not our own resource. We're not our own commodity. We're that of other people. Other people see us as resources, as a commodity, real shit, real shit, the government, science, Nike, Apple, whoever, whether a clothing line you like, whatever, man, hats, you know what I mean? We're consumers. We don't produce nothing for others to consume as a result of our productivity. Something wrong with that, homie. Something wrong with that, man. Real shit. Now, if they're telling you, if science is saying it out loud, hey, man, we need melanin to power this new technology. What you think finna be happening? Huh? I remember, man, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm remembering this right or not, but like shit, like the mid late 70s and early 80s, a lot of black people be coming up missing all over the country. And black families had a thing about being abducted. You know what I mean? Especially, in California, we didn't play that shit. We didn't know somebody, that was the issue. Like, who you think you finna kidnap? But now that we know, or those that don't know need to know, you should know, man. Go find out what's going on in the world of science and in governments, man. Melanin is the new thing, bro. And I'm willing to wager they're gonna find a way, see, to produce it synthetically. That's probably on the low end of some shit. But imagine if they can extract it from the body, the human being, all right? Come on, home. Come on, man. Whatever melanin in terms of technology is pushing now, look at what that shit is worth. Y'all go research that shit, man. Go check that shit out. But you got a point, Akeem. You got a point. Chris 223 say, good point. All snakes in the grass, man. And I think you're talking about, these other cats, you know what I'm saying? Which is, like I said, again, that's a bad get down, homie. It's a bad get down, homie. Mr. Fantastic, he said, I believe some of us want the same things as far as peace, but others are just going about it in different ways. How do you go about peace, though? Bro, for real. Other than how you go about peace, you know what I mean? Excuse me. You don't continue. I, I think it's you don't continue to enact war if you want peace, homie. Now some, and I said this, some talk that shit that they really want peace and really don't. you know. But when an individual or a group of individuals, a collective want something, they and they're willing to put in the work to get it. They know how, they understand what needs to be done, what has to be done, what steps need to be taken to get that thing that they want. They address it. How do you get peace? You know, that's the question, people. How do you get peace? You know, and I may make it sound simple sometime, you know, but you know, sometime, man, some some of the simplest things to do, man, are right there for you to do. It doesn't take a whole lot. You know what I mean? It doesn't take a whole lot just to get like one thing in place. There's a whole lot, I think, to this apparatus, this thing, this piece. You know, the apparatus in of itself. Yeah, there's a lot to that. But how do you start it? How do you start this process? You know, and you know, again, earlier I said if dude walking around up and down Vermont with a phone recording, talking about this is what peace look like, but I see nothing in the frame that would indicate that there's something peaceful amongst warriors or warring tribes, you know, to just, you know, to confirm that. Nothing. There's a lot of, you know, nonprofit dudes. You know, come on, man. Peace. How do you get peace? How do you initiate peace, man? You know, come on, man. You know, be one equal black first. Yes, sir. That was Al Thomas. Akim also said, yes, sir. Peace to God. Beautiful unity with original people. Common sense to take care of home first, but no groups prosper in isolation. Hmm. Well, um, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. You know, I don't know if I agree with that because what I'm saying is this: as a people, when we get our shit together, you know, what I'm saying, you know, we prosper amongst each other. You know what I mean? We're not isolated. We're interacting with others. We become our own system. You know, we become our own economy. We become our own whatever. You know, one of the worst things that happened to us in this country, and in fact, probably all over the world, was integration. Was integration. Think about that. All right? Think about that. See, because if we were segregated, that means we're gonna get our own shit, homie. That means we're gonna get it to the point where no, we don't want that shit. You know? In fact, you know, we were isolated initially. And we took isolation on like it was nothing, took it on the chin. Ain't nothing. And new prosperity. And when they understood that that wasn't working, that segregation, you know what I'm saying, what was the vehicle for our prosperity, they ended that. They came with integration. Now we're in their schools, we're in their banks, you know what I mean? So now the education is going to be watered down. You know, now, you know, the bank say, okay, you can put your money here, but you can't get it. You know, they're going to redline us. You know what I'm saying? Now you got all this shit and it's fair because now we integrated in the system that, you know, didn't want us initially. When we were segregated and isolated, we prospered. What they do? What they do? Come on, homie. Come on, homie. We got to start thinking, man. History is our teacher, homie. History will teach you everything you need to know, man, even for these days. Because there's nothing new under the sun, homie. Nothing. History is what I'm telling you is our teacher, man. We shucking though our lessons. We're not really taking our lessons to heart, homie. We're not taking the lessons of those who came before us to heart. They say them people came out of slavery, man, with nothing. No demographic, man, could do what they did with nothing. Was isolated, shunned, hung, persecuted, discriminated against. Segregated. Best thing for us, homie. Best thing for us. All we gotta do is see that. All we gotta do is see that, man. You know, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now you talking about being, hey man, then you isolate you. Okay, you want to be a part of this new world order. You're gonna get what they're gonna hand to you in the next 5 years anyway. It ain't gonna be cute. See, they still gotta, once they get rid of dealing with these people, they still gotta figure out a way to get fucking rid of us, man. Cause we've been a thorn in their, how the hell these motherfuckers still here? Come on, man. Come on, man. If these people trying to get a hold of melanin, that means they working on some type of something that's gonna make us sick. It's gonna kill us off. We better off segregated. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We get more done that way. We appreciate what's ours. Ain't nobody gave us nothing. No welfare, no general, nothing. Nothing. Don't give me shit. In fact, I'm telling you, that'd probably be the best thing for us. Take us out this circumstance we in, man. See, because they give us this dream, this idea we can have anything we want, and we can't. Not under this system. You cannot. You cannot. Your neck will still have a boot on it. You come on, man. Yeah. Again, that you ain't gotta take it from me. But I'm gonna tell you what I think the business is. We don't need no strategic alliances. We don't need no integration. These things have all been detriments to us, man. Yeah, we don't see that. How we don't see that shit? Craig. Al Thomas say, I love it, Akeem. He watched us growing the men. We had our lovely combo surrounding that topic respectfully. It's always love, King. Real spit though, bro. Ain't nothing but love, and that's what we do. See what I'm saying? Look, you can be a blood, you can be a neighborhood. I'm telling y'all something though. Once you sit down with brothers, man, and you guys start having these conversations, you start communicating, appreciate that shit. You come to find out, oh shit, we got a lot in common. We here for each other, bro. We just don't realize it yet. We haven't realized it, or we're turning a blind eye to the real reason why we're supposed to be here. We're supposed to be here to take care of one another. That's what we're here for. Our prosperity is in our unity, homie. That's our wealth, homie. The fuck? Straight up. There's our wealth, homie. There's our health. Nothing else, homie. Real shit. The General Blood say, man, I feel you, homie. Put down the phones. I'm telling you, man, they turn their phone off. That phone, man, that phone that caught the conversation your woman was having while you was asleep with another motherfucker. Excuse my language. But yeah, AD phones, man. Another problem. Just a problem. And they made this shit affordable for a reason. This is how they got us, man. This is how they got cats, like I say, man. We forget shit quick. We forget shit quick. They went and locked up, man. These cats, man, from neighborhood, like it was like bam. All because of them phones. The internet. I'm just saying, man. We ain't learning these lessons, man. We supposed to be learning these lessons daily. But I'm telling you, the trap is set in such a way, it's hard. See, we working on desires and shit and feelings and shit. We not being logical about how we living. So we get caught up. It could be with the drugs. It could be with drink. It could be with the women. It could be with things, or it could just be your feelings, man, out of whack. You all in your feelings. No, man, it's a cold game, man, we in, man. And I'm telling you, we don't even know the rules. But we call ourselves playing the game. And we be quick to say that shit. I'm just playing the game, homie. We getting played. Game playing us. We not playing nobody. We been played, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The General Blood say I didn't go to Laundry Park Saturday because I didn't want to be on YouTube Sunday. And I get it. I get it. I really get it, man. I'm like this. Just say there was a function, and I know for a fact this function is positive. No funny shit. No. All right, hey, you know, and I know it's positive because what's at the park? What's at the function? You got black stands, businesses going. You know what I mean? You see kids running around. You don't see just on some real shit right here. You don't see a lot of weed blowing and shit, a lot of drinking out in the open. You see people, mingling and going about their day, man, with their people. You see some different shit. Now, if I walk up on some shit like that, I'm all in, man, because this is some beautiful shit to me. Now, when I pull up in the park and I got a homie, like, hey, man, everybody throwing up, homie, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. So I get it, man. Jackie Aldrich said wrong. No, I got somebody saying something now about what I said about segregation. But anyway, Jackie Aldrich said wrong. Segregation is not separation. During segregation, whites still had control in our areas. Separation is when you have control over your section. Okay. Now, when I'm speaking about, see, black businesses were black businesses, and they were funded by black banks, black products, yeah. When you talk about a town that's in, a county that's ran by a white magistrate, a white sheriff, yeah, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely correct. If you don't have air defense, no fly zones over the town, you are absolutely right. You run nothing. I don't disagree with you. But when we're talking about how to, have something that's ours, when we're talking about working together, building something with each other, that's all I'm speaking on. I understand the dynamics of living in a country where, hey, I don't care what you do, we come tear the shit up anyway, we take it from you. Yeah, I get that part. I get that part. I said early on, I said, man, one thing they lack one thing. See, because if they were willing to do that, then they were willing to die for it. And some of them did. Quite a few. They didn't have a defense in place. Fight back, because you're going to set a precedent. You're going to fight back. No different from, what I'm saying, slaves escaping off the plantation. You know, brother saying, okay, enough, I'm finna kill it. My point is this, man. When we decide to have something, and this is black folk, we have it. We get it. We get it. If we decide to be the best at, a people having their own shit, not having ties with nobody. We don't have to take grants and packs and, what I mean? IMF ain't got to get at us, man, to get, our nuclear reactor going. Cause we didn't, when we got, that's all I'm talking about. And it seemed far-fetched. I get it. But that's what I'm talking about. Black people having their own shit. And but it seems far, but that's not impossible. That's not impossible. Also, what I was saying about segregation, it was something they thought that would put us in our place, something that would keep us down, and realize that all they did was brought us together. That's what they realized about segregation. It brought us together. Now we were able to teach our children, or we were being taught what needed to be taught historically, politically, you know what I mean? Socially, economically, you know? And those people started to recognize, wait a minute, man, we messed up right here. Segregation is to our detriment, not theirs. You know, these is a people that we know for a fact could do anything. All we doing by segregating them is bringing them back into the know of what they're capable of. Oh, we got to end segregation. We got to end segregation. And they ended segregation. They ended segregation. That's what they did. That's what they did on paper. They still had that mindset. You know, them people down there, they still acted the same way they acted. You know, and that was still legal. You know what I mean? But segregation was a bad thing for them. It really was. Integration was the new game. And they integrated us in such a way, man. Man, we all in. We are all in. That's all I'm saying. As a result, we are all in. Man. But I get your point. Aldridge, I get your point. You know, Hilton Howard said the Los Angeles City building on Vermont where they met. Let me read this correctly. Hilton Howard, he said a Los Angeles City building on Vermont where they met. So it may have been some city money being passed out, or they used the room in the building to have a meeting. Your show is always on point. And enough said. Thank you. That what peace looked like. What piece of what? A pie? Did they get a piece? We ain't getting a I'm just saying. What piece are you talking about, bro? Come on, man. Yeah, anyway, thank you, brother. Yeah, man. Door number 2, appreciate everything you're doing. Groove all the way in Texas. All right, Texas, tap in, man. Like, share, and subscribe to this live, bro. Every Tuesday and Thursdays, man. Y'all come on in, man. This is what we're going to do, man. Like I said, for the most part, anything we're discussing, it's not already set content. In fact, you who are in the chat or watching the show, man, put something in there, man. You know, put some thought provoking in there, man. Let's have a discussion. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how far and deep we can get with that, you know. But like I said, we already know the BS, man. It's all day long on YouTube. Wars, rumors of wars, dudes being made. We already know it's on YouTube. You know, number mess, man. You know, and the brothers that shooting the solid shit. And I just, like I said, I just watched the podcast, Bobby Ye, and I was astounded. No, I wasn't. I was upset that this brother only had like about 300 views in a matter of days. And then what he talking about is what we should be talking about all day long. To those who are against what we talking about, hear it to the point where, all right, man, let me see what y'all talking about then. Fuck it. Real shit, man. And he ain't the only one. There's a few, and I've said this, man, but they not getting that. They not getting the algorithm is like, no, you can't get in here with that shit. We know what that brings. You know, that mean our sponsorship would go down and we can't give them the crumbs we giving them. And no, we need y'all to keep doing this. You know what that shit is, man. Luciano Corleone, groovy in Pittsburgh. Good looks on everything, big homeboy. Hey, man, appreciate Pittsburgh tapping in, Luciano. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe to this live, bro. And like I said, man, we do it every Tuesday and Thursday, all right? I did it kind of early tonight because, you know, I want to get home at a certain time tonight, man. I'm tired. I've been working all day. I get up early in the morning. But anyway, Tuesdays and Thursdays, man. Y'all come on, man. And like I said, man, everybody's welcome to come on this get down, man. Especially in this chat, man. You know, especially in this chat, man. And to my homeboys, especially the youngs, man, who think that they don't have a platform to come on, to sit on and speak about what affects them or what they going through every day, you're mistaken. I'm not going to charge you a dime. This thing free right here. You know, you come up in here, homie. This is what it is, homie. All I ask is that you be respectful. Just be mindful of respect, homie. You know, that's it. Don't be throwing no name, nobody under the bus or no bullshit. That's part of that respect. You feel me? But you brothers, man, y'all gotta know it. I don't care if it's in LA, from LA to New York, man, everything between, man. Under the Groove exists for you brothers, man. You know, for you brothers. You got a platform, homie. You don't have to go nowhere else. You don't have to go nowhere else and feel no kind of way, feel threatened or anything. You know, you don't have to go and be and worry about if I'm gonna ask you some shit I ain't got no business asking you. You don't have to worry about anything, man, that's gonna be negative. You know, all you have to worry about is keeping it respectful. That's it. That's it, man. That's why this shit exists, homie. And I mean that, especially to the Hoovers, homie. Especially to the Hoovers. You know? So then there that is. Domain Matt Corvey, 716, big homie, much love, lay low. All the time, homie. All the time. Like, comment, subscribe. Make this grooming the #1 platform. Real shit door #2. Appreciate that shout out right there. Yeah, you put that in there one more time, bro. Like, comment, and subscribe. Make this groovement a #1 platform, people. We're not with the funnies. You know, I want to tap in with the brother Bobby Ye. Just, you know, I want to get a feel of, brother. He sounds very articulate. I like his, you know, how he shared what he shared today. I haven't checked out much of his content, but again, I did talk to the brother last weekend. Me and Akeem and homie Fraud from Inglewood family. We talked for hours, you know, and I'm gonna stand on that square, bro. Bobby Ye and Fraud, you know, break bread, man. We're gonna break bread, man. You know, that way, man, we get a feel of one another, man. You know, because like I said, man, I'm not a gimmick, homie. I don't do gimmicks. You know, what you see is what you get. I'm be the same dude tomorrow, homie. You know, and though I don't do the shit I used to do back then, I'm still that same cat, man. My attitude's still the same. How I talk to people, how I groove is how I am, homie. You know, I want something better for our people. You know, my people doing better, I'm all right. You know, that's my take on this. Get down, homie. Um, what we want to do is just, you know, manifest what not or our thoughts are. Yeah, manifest not just what our thoughts are, but what our words are, man. Let's put them in the atmosphere. You know, and show the people, man, that they got love and support, especially those in the streets doing what they doing. A lot of them, man, you know, just think about this. A lot of them come from fucked up situations, man. Real shit. You know, a lot of them dudes, they, you know, they look the part, whatever, man, but man, living in abject poverty. You don't know. You know, a situation at home that ain't healthy. You don't know. No family. You don't know. You know? And another thing, and I probably already said this, but I'm gonna repeat it just to make sure I did say it last time. When we talking about the G homies, and a lot of things we don't understand about the G homies is that a lot of these dudes done been through some shit that today you guys couldn't fathom. You know, you just couldn't fathom the shit they've been through, man, back in the day, bro. A lot of these dudes have PTSD, man. Facts. Facts. I witness it, man. I interact with my G's all the time. And I'm telling you, man, I be like, whoa. But then as I'm sitting here and observing whatever it is, I reflect on myself and I be like, oh shit. Sometimes I might be on some trip shit. Affected, man. This life has affected us in ways, man. A lot of us we don't understand, we don't know, and some won't acknowledge, you know. But I'm saying that to say, man, the G's, man, they the G's, man, you know, and what's going on now was not part of their script, you know. Um, let me let me say this. That way I won't seem like I'm double speaking. They had issues, you know, Crips and Bloods, it started whatever that, you know, that was. But these same dudes today, some of their best buddies, the hangout buddies, drinking by are Bloods and are Crips, you know? But these dudes have been through the fire, man. These are the ones that have been through it 100 times. And they scared, but not necessarily scared. That's the wrong terminology. These brothers are reluctant to mess with a lot of YNs because I think that the G's think these YNs don't really understand. Motherfucker ain't playing. And they could take anything that these dudes snap, and so I kind of understand it. I wish I understood it better. And maybe it's an idea. I can get some brothers on here, man, to talk about that. But see, PTSD don't just affect those who are older than those who are younger. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of young cats, and again, them been through some shit at a young age. And you have to acknowledge that there's a possibility, a probability even, that they are affected also PTSD. So I think that would be a good forum, homie. That something to sit up and discuss. You know, I don't know, man. But anyway, I think that the people, you guys, see, this is just one channel y'all watch, and I can imagine for each and every one of y'all on here, there are 4 or 5, maybe 6 other channels y'all watch and subscribe to. You know, and out of that number, man, how many are positive as opposed to how many are messy? So look at yourselves, are you culpable? Are you to blame as well? See, because a lot of these dudes couldn't get these numbers and then keep putting this bull crap out there if, brothers and sisters didn't watch that bull crap. And it'd be the same recycled shit. They go from set to set, and a lot of them do it. And again, man, a lot of them do it just, hey, man, because they messy. They looking at it like there's more content. So I got to be messy, Then a lot of these podcasters, whether y'all want to believe this or not, or podcasters belonging to the authorities. It's real shit. Real shit, man. But we owe it to ourselves so that, we can pay those coming up behind us, man, a rightful living. Give them something, man, to live for, man. So we got to get in this game too, bro. We got to be accountable. We have to be accountable, man. Otherwise, man, ain't no sense in even, come on, man. Ain't no sense in none of this if we're not willing to do what needs to be done. And everybody can't come on and say, hey, man, I'm willing to speak of that. I'm willing to do this. But then somebody can say, you know what? I'm unsubscribed to this one. Because it's bullshit. It's bullshit. How the hell? I ain't even going to get back on that shit, man. We know what it is, man. We got to do better. That's all I'm saying, all right? Got to do better. Daywalker said, what y'all do to keep cool in 100-degree weather and them cells locked up? Oh, my God, bro. Well, I didn't have a cellie. Everybody know. If you came to my cell, it's just basically like a way station. And in a week or so, you go find yourself to do what you want to do in your cell so that I don't have to be subjected to you getting caught with your cell phone, your weed, or whatever. Now, but if you was in my cell, and everybody know this, for a while you was a homie. I loved you, I respected. Not saying I didn't love and respect the other ones, but we were on the same wavelength, and I knew you. I knew you from the streets, But one of the reasons why I didn't really like cellies, because when they get hot in them concrete boxes, it get hot. Ain't no AC. It's recycled air, man, that's in the unit. Ain't no AC. But I would take some plastic bags and I make a funnel and I would tape it up to the vent all the way down to the back of the wall of my bed and have it sticking up against the wall, because there's about this much space between the top bunk and the wall, right? This the top bunk, this the wall, and this the top bunk. So you got just enough space to get the plastic bag in there, all taped up real good and shit, and have that thing, the opening of that funnel right there on your face, right, laying down in your boxes. You ain't moving. You ain't trying to move. Any little bit of move gonna create condensation. You know what I mean? You're gonna be sweating and shit. So motherfucker ain't trying to do no moving. You got the TV set up the way you ain't got to reach over You get up to move it, to turn the channel or nothing. You got the radio right there with you. You're not moving, man. You're not doing no moving, man. And that's how you know you kept it at 100. That's how you kept it at 100. Now, if you got a selling, he want to work out. Hey, homie, the fuck you doing, motherfucker? It's 110 degrees in the motherfucker. Yo, sit your ass down. But you had some dudes had sellers who were workout-holics. You know what I mean? That's what they did. You get in their cell and they be bust down doing burpees. That motherfucker like a sauna up in there. And you know, I felt bad. I always felt bad for the cat because I walk by the door, leaving the shop, something. This motherfucker busting down my leg. You good, man? Yeah, man, I'm good, man. They said, y'all, yeah, huffing and puffing, sweating, flow all wet from sweating, and you can feel the heat coming out the door because the doors got little holes in them, you know. And you feel the shit just like, damn, homie. All right, homie, I'm gone, man. I get the fuck off the door, man. Let me get off this door, man, because I'm starting to sweat just standing at your door. But that's what I did, man. I'm telling you, I ain't the only one did that, man. We had creative ways to get that, especially even if you had two people in the cell, there was a way to have two of them. But the air ain't gonna be as strong if you got to share it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, there are ways to get it done, man. So Domain McCorvey said, Young Hefe is on content and podcast made 3rd Street. Have you invited him to Under the Groove? No, I haven't, bro. And I probably won't. You know, I'm just be 100. You know, we're on different paths, homie. You know what I mean? There's no reason. I don't see the benefit of me going on his show or him coming on mine. You know what I mean? I'm not the kind of content he want. You know what I mean? He's not the kind of content I want. You know what I mean? So, you know, but he do his thing, man. That's how he do his thing, homie. I don't want to be a part of that. You know, like I say, I keep the way I keep it, man, for a reason, man, because I don't want to be. I don't. You know, I already was a problem, homie. I already contribute to the mess, you know, and I don't want to keep doing that. You know, I don't want to keep doing that. Akeem said we connected to one another in the mosque, churches, jobs, schools, etc. I remember working in Chicago with Snoop from WSP. We looked out for each other. We had an opportunity to make things right. And see, that's another thing that's beautiful. And a lot of us don't get this part. We know brothers and sisters from everywhere. Man, there is this thing, man, and fuck 6 degrees of separation, excuse my language. But no, man, it ain't even got to be that many degrees of separation. I'm telling you, you're gonna know somebody that knows somebody. That person knows somebody. There's a connection, man, that just is incredible. If we ever take time to sit down, especially with those we close to, and just get, you know, man, around the table. Do you know one? Yeah, I know one. Ask won't if they know won't. You know what I mean? And you'd be shocked, man. You'd be shocked. You know, I just, you know, that's some real shit right there, man. All right, man. I've been there. All right. Hey, Frederick, man. Has to be where you been, bro? Salute, bro. I ain't seen you in a few weeks, man. I hope you're well, man. It's good to see your name down there, brother. I mean, you're all right. Alive and well, man. Hey, look, man. Like I said, man, my thing is, man, to do, you know, what I know is right. You know, to do what I know is right. You know, 'cause I done a lot of wrong. You know, and I done it knowing it was wrong. You know, so I want to dedicate what's left of my life to doing, not just doing, but saying as well what's right. You know, I'm still a work in progress. You know what I mean? Because I still had thoughts sometimes like, this motherfucker stupid. You know, it's like, damn, you know, sometimes I don't, like I said, I don't do feelings, but I can lose grasp. I can, easily my what this tight thing I got around here could loosen up sometime. And I'd be like, oh dude, tighten that shit back up quick, you know. But my thing now, homie, and I keep it tight like that because I know my objective, my goal is to do what's right, bro. You know, and I'm not gonna be able to do that if I'm with the bullshit. So there that is, man. Look, brothers, I have to say this, man. I love you guys, man. I appreciate you, brothers and sisters, coming up and to get down tonight, man. As always, You guys' involvement in this get down this platform is what makes it right, what makes it viable, what makes it important, and what makes it worthwhile, bro. You know, so I appreciate that, man. One more, man. Daywalk says crazy out here compared to back in the day. Easy to slip. Real spit though. Again, there's just so much going on, man, that the focus ain't even there no more. You know, it's not even there no more. You know, man. Akeem said, Big Snoop, small giant from West Side Peru, good old brother right there. All right, man. Shout out to him then. And blessings back to you, McMain. Uh, Demain McCorby, excuse me, brother. Blessings to you as well. Hey, Al, man, look here, man. Oh, this for you. He say for Akeem. Akeem, me and Jay worked in Utah with Barner and a couple of other WSPs. Same scenario. We looked out for one another as well. But that's what brothers do, especially when they start, interacting, especially after they didn't sit down and communicated with one another. You know what I mean? That's what happens, bro. And that's all it's gonna take, man, for us to communicate with one another. Now, on that note, man, I gotta go, man. I love you guys, but I'll be back up in here Thursday, man. I'm coming back up in there Thursday. I'm hoping somebody got a gem, man, to drop them in. Let's see how long we can discuss something positive about what's going on, not just in our community, but in the communities at large, man. On that note, man, you have been, you are, and you will be under the groove, man. Take care of yourself so that you could take care of somebody else and take care of each other, man. Peace and blessings, man. Power is in the people. One love.